So hello! On this channel we talk about independent spirituality and folk magic for free spirits. My name is Aster, and in today's video we have a little bit of a celebration vibe because the channel has just reached 5,000 subscribers and I am very happy about it. So I want to thank you for being here, for following the channel, for being subscribed and all, and like for the people, I want to thank the people who are present in every video. I see the same little faces, the same profile pictures, people who are present in the live streams, which by the way I should resume doing. I haven't done a live stream in weeks, I think. Also, yeah, I want to thank everybody who is somehow involved in this project and helps it to happen, especially the editor who is editing right now. I usually tell him that he is the backbone of this channel, and without him it would be very difficult for me to keep it running. So thank you also for your work. And yeah, it's been a year and 5,000 subscribers. I know that for YouTube standards it's not much, it's a very small number as a matter of fact, but I am happy regardless. And today we are having a Q&A. I am going to answer questions from Patreon, from Instagram, and from the post that I've made on the YouTube community tab. Wait a minute! Before we start, let's take a minute to hear a word from today's sponsor, which is myself. Did you know that I have opened a store? Yeah, that's right. Over there you can find all my ebooks that contain some juicy bits of occult knowledge that I share, and you don't want to miss out on that. And also private readings that combine tarot and Len Norman cards, as you already know them, with some extra spice of Afro-Brazilian knowledge. But the best part is that the products on the store start at only $3. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know, I'm also on Patreon. And over there I share extra exclusive content like spell tutorials, behind the scenes of my life, exclusive Patreon videos, unfiltered book reviews, weekly readings, and much more for only 1 cup of coffee per month. So if you like what I do on the internet and would like to support my work somehow, check out the links in the description to take a look at everything that I offer. Now, with that being said, let's get back to the video. So on Patreon, I didn't get many questions, but I am going to start with Patreon because if you are a Patreon, you have priority in the Q&As. So, Christelle asked, she said, "Congratulations, Aster, you're gonna get to 5k in no time," because that was before I got to 5k, and before you know it, 10k is gonna happen too. I would love to know if you got back to the dancing class and how that's going. So I took a pole dance class last month and I loved it. It was the first time I've wanted to do pole dance for years because at university I had a professor, it was the workers' law professor. She did pole dancing and she would post it on Instagram from time to time, and I found that so cool. And I really wanted to give it a try someday, but in my town there were no pole dance studios. And then, okay, I forgot about it after university was done and everything. But then came Olivia Graves, the Witch of Wonderlust, with her pole dancing thing, and it made me remember about the whole thing and that I actually wanted to do that someday. And now the place where I'm living, there's a pole dance studio 10 minutes from here walking. So I said to myself, yeah, that's it, it's now, it has to happen. And I went there, I took a class, it was so much fun. It is very hard, it is so very hard, and the next day you're all sore, but I haven't had the chance of going back this month. It is something that I intend on continuing in August. I am recording in July, not sure when the video is going to come up on the channel, but in August I do plan on going back, doing at least like 2 more classes and keeping it as a regular thing every month because it is very fun. I am in touch like with other girls, and I even made a friend the first day. it was her first day as well. We exchanged numbers and everything. It was really nice. So it is something that I should keep on doing. And then Christelle, she's actually French. And she sent another question. So, since you've been in Paris, have you conducted a spell outdoors or a specific place in Paris to use the energy of the place? And if yes, where and what spell, if you feel comfortable to share that part? Thank you so much. Can't wait for the Q&A video. Thank you so much, Christelle, for being present. She's super present on Patreon. She's so sweet. She has great advice because sometimes I am freaking out on Patreon and having existential crisis, and she has amazing advice for those times. So thank you for your questions, Christelle. If I have used Paris to conduct a spell outdoors. No, I haven't used Paris itself anywhere within the city. Let me think. No, I don't think so. I think that I was much more indoors when I was living in Paris region. I think that there's a lot of people out there, like in the city. There's people everywhere all the time, and I don't manage to do my things when people are passing by and taking a look at what you're doing because they're puzzled about it and curious. So I need to be completely alone when I am doing spell work. So in the suburbs, which is where I live now, I've been living in the suburbs since last year. I do go frequently to crossroads and cemeteries, and I like being in the suburbs because you are much more able to be alone in the places where you choose to do your magic. So once I've done a ritual with Exu Tranca-Rua das Almas at the cemetery. I asked for specific things that, like, it's a secret. That is an amazing entity, by the way. I had very quick results. It was amazing. And I was completely alone at the cemetery when I did it. It was a huge cemetery and I had it all for myself. I had all the time in the world. I was not hurried. I was just doing my thing. It was great. It was a great experience. Amazing, amazing. And also crossroads, I like to place offerings at crossroads frequently because of the entities that I work with. So yeah, that's basically it. Cemeteries and crossroads, but not necessarily within Paris, but in the suburbs. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Instagram questions. I also didn't get many. By the way, follow me on Instagram, okay? Because my Instagram account is falling behind if compared to YouTube and TikTok. Okay, so follow me on Instagram. It's at Aster Perpetua. So I got a question. I will not remember who asked it because I just got a screenshot of it. What are your favorite tarot spreads? So I detest to be predictable, maybe, or to be easy when it comes to that, but I really like the Celtic cross. I think that people are so sick and tired of that spread because it's been around for so long, but I do like it, and sometimes I use it not only for myself and for friends, but also for clients. So yeah, sometimes I use it and I like it. It is nice to have that structure for placing the cards. There are some readings that I do that I don't really follow a spread. I have sometimes past, present, and future. That's also a classic. And also shadow, light, and advice. Those are like 3 card spreads that I use sometimes, especially with clients. And my top favorite one is using the natal chart thing as a spread. I'm gonna show you. I have this little cloth here with a natal chart scheme kind of thing. There are the 12 houses, like Aries, so on and so forth. Taurus, Gemini, and I place 1 card on each house, and like that we can take a look at many things going on in the person's life. This is my favorite spread when I read for friends. This is the spread that I use because it is the most complete possible, and I love it when clients book this reading. I call it the Wheel of Fortune. I do it every month for Patreons. There is a reading like that every month on my Patreon page, and And yeah, for clients, I also really like to do it because it is so complete. So these are my favorite tarot spreads. Next question. Have you seen the movie Tarot? Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it over here in France. There's, or at least in Paris region, there's a movie theater called Pâté, and they have a subscription, a monthly subscription that I have joined like last month. And the first movie that I've seen within the subscription was the tarot movie. First of all, those cards, they are amazing. The illustrations are so cool, and I would love to have the deck, to have that deck. It is really very cool. I even looked it up on Google, but I couldn't find it anywhere to be bought, so I guess it doesn't exist, at least not yet. But if I would get a next deck, I haven't been thinking about buying any decks because I feel that I already have more than enough. But if I would get a new one, it would definitely be that one. I would love it to be that one. So what do I think of the movie? I thought it was a very original idea to put tarot cards within a horror movie. I had never seen that before. So like finally somebody thought about it. It amazes me. It boggles me that nobody thought of it before. But either way, yeah. It was a good idea, something a little original, a little bit more creative, but it's a typical horror movie, you know, with those kinds of predictable things happening and jump scares and people dying one by one and like this curse that needs to be broken by the end of the movie. I have to admit that nowadays that I am much more in touch with spirituality, and after the experiences that I've had and everything, horror movies, they amuse me. I find them funny because they are so far-fetched and unrealistic, you know, that I end up just, I can't help but laughing. However, I have to mention that when it comes to horror movies, if you are sensitive and you are scared and you are spiritual, you should avoid horror movies because the feeling of fear does attract entities that you don't want to be in contact with. So if you are afraid of horror movies and you are spiritual, you are a practitioner, I advise you to not watch them. But it was a very good movie, I thought. It was entertaining, it was nice, it was well done, I think. A little bit dramatic and like typical horror movie stuff, but it was nice. It was good. Next question. Can you show us your book collection? All my books, they are basically over here, and there are some here as well. When I moved in here, I realized that I don't really have as many books as I thought. I have a witchy room tour video. It's gonna be linked up in the cards and in the description down below in case you haven't seen it already. But I have a witchy room tour, which was in the house where I lived previously, and over there I show my bookshelf, the bookshelf that I used to have. I don't have it anymore because I wouldn't have the space for it in this house. And in there you can see all the books that I have. I also have some books in here, like this over here. These are books, they're not really in the frame. You see, books. Ever since I moved in here, I didn't get that many new books. I haven't been into buying books that much lately. So if you go to the witchy room tour, you are going to see pretty much like 97-98% of the books that I have. Next question. What was one thing that kept you from leaving your practice after feeling doubtful? I've read this question like I can't speak or something. What was one thing that kept you from leaving your practice after feeling doubtful? To be honest, I don't think I ever felt doubtful. Being doubtful was never really a reason for me to not practice or for taking a break or for being distant from my practice. Doubt was never an issue for me, but time management, yes. Finding the time, especially for meditation, I struggled a little bit, especially after I moved in here, like finding the balance and reorganizing myself and adapting when it comes to time and scheduling things, so on and so forth. Time and being consistent have been a little bit complicated for me, but I am back on track now. Now that I am living here, I'm living here since April, I think. So it's been some good months. Now I am completely adapted, and I found my way back into a consistent practice again. I have my spellcasting area over here, which I have shown the process of putting it together on Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive video. I have my altar here and all my apothecary kind of thing situation. So I am much more active now. I cast spells on my own. I venerate my ancestors, my entities, and things are going very well when it comes to my spirituality, because finally I am back on track. So doubt has never been an issue, but time management, yes, it has. But if you are feeling doubtful about your practice, I think you should keep on trying. I think you should keep on challenging yourself, and you should keep on learning. Maybe if you have tried a certain spell and it didn't work, you didn't see results as fast as you expected, or you thought you would have the results, keep on trying. You know, maybe you did something wrong. It is part of the process. Mistakes are part of the journey. It is normal. So keep on learning, and you could also try to look for some kind of teacher, somebody to show the way and guide you through the path. Like, not everybody is able to simply fuck around and find out 100% of the time. We can't find stuff out all of the time. There are certain things that it is nice to have somebody else to teach us. My God, I can't speak today. So if you can find some kind of mentor, somebody who has more experience than you, somebody who's older, an older friend, I don't know, somebody who would be glad to share some information with you, that's really helpful. But keep on learning. That's my main advice if ever you feel doubtful about your practice. Next question, how do you know that your magic is working? Well, you see the results. You see the consequences of it all. You see certain things aligning. You see that person who threw you under the bus, yeah, all of a sudden certain funny things are happening in their life. That's interesting. You see that roads are opening to you, opportunities are coming, the things that you're asking for are happening. That's how you know your magic is working. You are going to see it around you. Sometimes, yeah, I have to admit that sometimes it's still related to the previous question. Sometimes I am casting a spell and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Have I gone insane and haven't noticed it? Am I crazy here? But then right after, sometime after, I get the results. So if you're not sure if your magic is working, maybe you did something incorrectly, and the same advice applies as I have given in the previous question. Keep on learning. Try to find out where exactly you went wrong and how you could improve it for a next time. And I believe that when you work with spirits, it is very unlikely that you're not gonna have results, because they deliver stuff like nobody's business. So if you feel that you've been struggling to have results on your own, partner up with a deity or some entity, some spirit, some ancestor. Spirits, they are great when it comes to results. They can go farther than we can. They can reach places that we can't. So I highly recommend you to partner up with a spirit if you are kind of struggling on your own. Okay, those were the Instagram questions, and now to wrap it up, we are going to go to the post that I've published on the community tab over here on YouTube. So let's go. Aurora said, hello Aster, congratulations, thank you. Hope that your channel continues growing and expanding. My questions for you this time are, in previous videos you spoke about the Len Norman system of for divination. How did you stumble upon Len Norman? What is your favorite thing about the system? God, I can't speak today. What is your favorite thing about the system of cartomancy? What made you stick with it, utilize it in your practice, and in the readings that you give to the public? So let's break this down. Yes, I use Len Norman cards. I use them intensively. I use them very frequently on Patreon, with my clients, for myself, for friends. Len Norman cards, they are part of my divination system, my divination routines. How did I stumble upon it? The Norman cards in Brazil, they are known as baralho cigano, which is could be translated as Romani cards, Romani deck, which I hope I am using the correct term, because I recently learned that gypsy is not a good word to use. It's Romani, right? So in Brazil we call the Norman cards Romani cards, and I had heard about it before, and one day I was like, it could be interesting to learn this one. It is much shorter. There's like 30 something cards, 32 I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's so much shorter and it seems easier. There was a channel that I used to follow. The channel is no longer active, unfortunately. It was this cartomancer who was great with tarot and Len Norman. The channel was called A Memória das Árvores, The Memory of the Trees. It was a great channel and I watched all of his videos. He was great. And I saw, it was with that channel that I saw somebody for the first time using the Norman cards, and it was from seeing this boy, this cartomancer, using the Norman cards, that I decided to go ahead and learn it myself. And what is my favorite thing about this cartomancy system? That it is simple. It is simple, it is straight to the point. I feel that tarot cards, they are much more philosophical. There's a lot of depth. There's an invitation for inner work in basically every reading that you do. The Norman cards, they cut straight to the matter at hand. They cut deep, they are quick and fast. You have no doubts when you see a Lenormand card. You know exactly what's up. It is very practical in my opinion, and the cards are small, so they are very easy to carry around with you. So yeah, it is simpler, it is straight to the point, and I really like how direct Lenormand cards are. And I think that's what made me stick with it, the practicality and how direct it is. It complements the tarot very well in my opinion, so I like to use both systems together. Next question. Hello Aster, congratulations. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. Thank you so much. This is Tamara, by the way. 2 questions, 3 to be exact. What are your thoughts on hypnotic regression or past life regression? And would you like to experience it? And have you come across or read the book titled Destiny of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton? Wish you a peaceful and calm day. Thank you so much for being present, Tamara. So what are my thoughts on life regression? I think this is something very interesting, but like at the end of the day, there is a reason why we don't remember our past lives. There is a reason for that, and sometimes it is better to not know certain things. You know, within our current lifetime, sometimes we uncover things, we discover secrets or things that we were not aware of before, and we are kind of devastated, right? So imagine discovering some kind of struggle or hardship or heartbreaking situation that happened to you in another life. I've heard from somebody who did a life regression thing that it does change you forever, and that person themselves said that there are things that it's best to not know. I think that out of curiosity, because I am a curious person, if ever I have the opportunity, I would take it. I think I would do it just for the experience and because I am curious. But yeah, as I've said, there are certain things that is better to not know. So it's like a risk that you're going to take to your own discretion, you know? And yeah, that's what I think of it. I think I would be curious, but I think it would be a life-changing experience, and I would learn certain things that like I didn't see coming, most definitely. And about the book, no, I haven't read it. I have never heard of it, to be honest. What is it about? I think I'm gonna take a look and check it out, maybe. Thank you. Thank you for your comment and for your questions. Next question we have Sabrina. Congrats, Aster. May your channel continue to grow exponentially. No, wait, I can't freaking talk today. Exponentially. Thank you. She asks, do you have any charms, spells, or witchy things for successful pregnancy and birth? So I would advise you to keep the environment stress-free and cleansed with the presence of certain plants. I would advise you to plant chamomile, at home, and also passion fruit flower. You can get those seeds on the internet. I think on Amazon you could find them, plant them in a vase, have them grow. That would bring an energy of peace and calm within your home. And you could also make some chamomile tea, make a ritual out of it, add in some honey and drink that tea, thinking about the experience that you wish to have during your pregnancy and also for your giving birth. So those are the herbs that I recommend to you: chamomile and passion fruit flower. Have them around the house, and chamomile tea with honey. So next question, Adriana, she says, any chance you can do English translations of the wonderful Brazilian books you recommended, with the permission of the authors, of course, to sell to the masses? That would be great. Thank you for all you are doing. It's all just fantastic. Thank you for such kind words. So it has occurred to me someday, perhaps, work with translation of Brazilian books into English. It has occurred to me, but it is not something that I have actively looked into, and it's not something that I would do for free. Like, translation is a huge work. It's a lot of work, and I would love, like, if someday some publishing house would reach out to me and offer me that kind of job. Like, I have no formal education for being a translator, so if I just apply out there, I'm gonna be denied because I don't have I cannot prove with papers that I am a skilled translator. But people who are seeing me here talking and blabbing, and you know that I speak 3 languages, as a matter of fact, and you know that I speak them well. So I could definitely do translations, but applying for jobs where people don't know me, I just get refused. So because I don't have the education for it. But someday, if I have the opportunity, I would love to partner up with some publishing house and work on translations for them. That would be very cool. Chvy, my favorite little cow. Chvy is always present on the channel, also on the Discord server. Chvy is like just pure love, and they ask, what's your favorite movie? I think I have talked about favorite movies in another Q&A. I don't remember which one exactly. I'm gonna take a look at it and link it up in the cards and in the description. So I'm gonna talk about my favorite video games, because that's something I haven't been asked about before. So I have a few video games that are my favorites. I have to be honest that I haven't had really the time of playing a lot ever since I immigrated and everything, and having a full-time job and having running a shop and YouTube and Patreon. I don't really have that much time to play video games anymore, but it is still something that I love to do, and my all-time favorite is Fable: The Lost Chapters. Sometimes I even listen to the bande sonore, to the soundtrack, because it is so beautiful. I have very fond memories of me playing that game. It was a game that a friend of mine from my hometown gave me years ago, and I've played it over and over several times. At the time, it was not Steam, it was just a CD, so I have no idea how many hours I would have on that game, but I've finished it over and over again multiple times, and my mom, she would lay down on the couch next to me, next to the computer, and watch me play. That was really nice, it was some quality time that we spent together. She would just look at the game and see me doing the things, and yeah, it is something that I remember very fondly. And the game in itself, I love it. I love the storyline. It is simple. It is, yeah, it has a lot of nostalgia to me somehow. It takes me back in time. I love Fable: The Lost Chapters. Another one, Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls, I believe 4. Yeah, I think it's 4. It's an endless rabbit hole, that thing. I have more than 100 hours. I don't really know how many hours, but I love it. I am the type of I really like RPG and open world, because I like to go around and explore everything and look for things and find things, and I really like exploring. I completely forget about the quests. I'm just wandering around, finding stuff, finding caves and forgotten castles, and uncovering even more side quests. I really like Skyrim, but sometimes I feel like I'm not gonna finish that game in like my entire lifetime because it is so long, it's so extensive. And do you know what is the music of life? Tell me in the comments. Do I have other favorites? I also really like Far Cry. I've played almost all of them except for like 6, Far Cry 6. I've played a little bit, but I didn't get anywhere near finishing it. My favorite is Far Cry Primal and Far Cry 3. They are the best. I also like Assassin's Creed a lot. So yeah, there you go. I am a gamer when I have the chance. Next question, Wild and Witchy asks, what's your favorite book? So my favorite book is Animal Farm by George Orwell. And by the way, I do miss reading literature. Literature, of course. I meant fiction. You know, being an adult and an immigrant and like content creator, it's so many things to tackle at once, so many things to manage doing at once. And I am proud to say Gemini, which means that I have many interests. I am like a jack of all trades kind of person. So it kind of freaks me out and frustrates me a little bit to come to the realization that I don't have the time to do everything that I like. So I like embroidering, I like painting with watercolors, I like gaming, I like reading, and I never managed to do everything because I also have to be at my 9 to 5 every day. I do it like this because I don't have a fixed schedule, but I have to spend countless hours at work and I don't really have the chance of doing everything that I like. I miss reading fiction. It's really like those trips that we need to take, traveling without buying a ticket, you see, without buying a plane ticket. I miss that. I also really like The Lord of the Rings. I have, again, very fond memories from my teenage years where I got the single volume book from my school, not the school library, but the town's library. I got it and I would sit on the couch with popcorn. I would make popcorn and put condensed milk on top of it and eating that popcorn like with my mom in the background doing something, whatever, and reading The Lord of the Rings in the single volume version. That was so nice. That was such a good time that I've spent in my life, and I remember it. I cherish those times when I could like mindlessly sit down on the couch with popcorn with condensed milk on top of it and just read my mind away into the Middle Earth and see what Nazgul was doing, and like they're taking the hobbits to Isengard, and just enjoy myself until nightfall and going to bed. Those were the days. I wish I could do those things again. So Animal Farm, I've read it at university for this subject called legal sociology. I think I could translate it as that. And it was a fantastic read. It really gets you thinking about power and how it changes people and politics. So amazing book. And it's not like a fable. It's not fairy tales. Some people think it's that, but it's not at all. So Animal Farm and The Lord of the Rings. Next question, is there the concept of familiars in Brazilian folk magic? If there is, do you have one? If so, what is it? So there are familiars in Brazilian folk magic, but I have to say that it's not something so common. So I would say that it's not something that everybody has. Me in particular, I haven't been visited by animal. I mean, once I was visited by a wolf, but I think that's because I am in France and wolves are part of the local fauna, and not because that animal was my familiar or somehow tied to my heritage. So there are familiars in Brazilian folk magic, but that's not something that everybody has. So me, for example, I don't have one. I don't think I have a familiar. And next question, do you think different religions and civilizations around the world worshipped the many be of the same beings but with different names. I do have that theory because when I took the time to study and learn a little bit more about Pombagira, for example, I noticed that other cultures do have some entities that are very similar to Pombagira in the attitude and like being ancestors and yeah, and accompanying people. So I think that there are some spirits, entities, deities, what have you, that are specific to a culture, to a place, because like local spirits, local lore. So not everything will be seen everywhere. Not everything will be found. We will not find similarities between everything across cultures. Some things will be very specific to a culture, to a place, because magic is always very local. But there are certain entities that I believe they are universal, and we do get in touch with them everywhere through the lenses of different cultures, if that makes sense. So I am almost out of battery, and this was the last question. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here, for watching this video all the way to the end, and for sticking around and participating in the channel, building this community together with me. I am very grateful for what we are doing together, and I can't wait to see where we are going. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, practice makes perfect. So let's get witching. Bye bye.